Hello viewers, welcome to Diaspora Speak. I'm Janet Wainaina, and today is a big day. It's been a season we've all been worried about. This is a season of COVID-19. We've lost a lot of our family members. A lot of us are exhausted on how much we have been giving and giving and giving, until we thought it's about time we find something that works for us in the diaspora that really helps us when it comes to funerals and when it comes to, saying goodbye to our loved ones. So we have brought on Diaspora Speak today, Diaspora Insurance.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Now I want you, Mr. Sibert, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Janet.
Introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit, because obviously we're coming from a season where everybody has been crying. So me finding you was a big thing. So introduce yourself and tell us about the Diaspora Insurance policy.
Yes. Thank you, Janet, for having us this afternoon. And I am very excited to be part of this program. My name is Sibert, and I'm one of the directors for Diaspora Insurance. So Diaspora Insurance is an insurance company that specializes in crafting insurance products that are targeted at people that we call diasporas or expatriates, if you want to be posh. So these are people mainly from Africa who live in countries like UK, USA, Canada, Europe, Australia, or in the Middle East. And we are based or headquartered in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, and we've got offices as well in South Africa, and we've been operating for more than 10 years now. In the UK, we are authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, that's the FCA, and in South Africa, we are authorized by the Financial Services Conduct Authority. One of our key products, because we've got about 4 or 5 products that we market that are insurance related, like I mentioned, but we have a very unique or a bespoke product that is targeted at Africans who live in the diaspora, and the product is called Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. So I don't know if you want me to go deeper into what this
cash plan. First and foremost, I would like to know why this product. Why did you decide to do something for the diaspora, especially, when it comes to funeral? As Africans especially, we are very attached to funeral issues. So why did you decide this product?
Yes. That's a very good question. So what we have seen in the market is that over the years, and from our experience, is that a lot of diasporans, especially African diasporas, when it comes to their end of life, they want to be repatriated to their home for their final resting place. There's a very strong evidence that we have, both from our studies and also from our experience. You know that there are more than 30 million Africans that live outside Africa in the diaspora, and per annum they remit more than 90 billion US dollars to Africa. So that in itself speaks volumes about the close connection or strong ties between Africans in the diaspora and their home countries. So you're living here in the UK or in the USA or wherever you are, but part of your life still belongs to Africa. And you have strong family ties, you got your parents there, you got your siblings back home there, but also you've got a family here in the UK or wherever you are settled. But when it comes to things that matter most to us as Africans, especially when it comes to end of life, there's what we call closure, right? So your family members back home would want to get closure. By closure, we mean that they see you, your dead body, they lay to rest in your home country amongst your ancestors, your people, and that gives closure to people. So what will happen is if you pass away here in the diaspora, there is that immediate need to repatriate that body back home. But what has been happening is that in most situations, people don't have money to do the repatriation. And I think, Janet, you've come across many messages from your friends, family members, people that you know in the Kenyan community, on GoFundMe platforms, or people begging for money, and bodies that have been lying in mortuaries for months and months, not being repatriated or taken back home. Because to be quite honest with you, it's a very expensive procedure to repatriate someone back home. Probably you're talking about more than 5,000, 6,000 pounds just for the body itself. And we haven't even started talking about family that need to accompany the body, flights back home, food, the burial itself, the actual funeral itself is going to be very costly. So you find that is a very expensive process. So what we have done is we've looked around to say, why is this situation like that? Why is that people are not taking insurance products? But what we have discovered is that there are not suitable products on the market that can actually address the need for diasporans. Because if you take, for example, like here in the UK, you got your standard insurance companies like Prudential, Aviva, Vitality. So these companies, what they do is they craft products for the local market, be it funeral, be it life, be it for your assets, or for anything. So you have to live here in the UK, and when you get your claim, it has to be processed in the UK and it has to be paid here in the UK, right? So now what happens is that, and also the products that they have here, like for funeral, like they won't serve, like for your funeral director, like if you got your co-op or the family the funeral planners, is that the assumption is that you live locally, die locally, and you'll be buried locally. So if you're living here in Essex, if you pass away, you go to your local funeral director, they arrange a funeral, then you get buried here in Essex. But what happens if you are from Kenya, right, and you die here in Essex? So it means that your body needs to be taken home, but your local funeral director cannot do that. They don't have the means, they don't have the capacity to do that.
And the knowledge.
And the knowledge as well, and the resources. So what will happen is that now you find people struggling to repatriate their loved ones back home. Then they end up begging. They end up going on GoFundMe. It's so stressful. You are bereaving your loved one, but at the same time, you don't have money. So what we decided to do was to craft a product that is unique.
Cash plan, right?
Cash plan. Exactly.
Yes, talk to me about this cash plan, because and it can also serve people who are here to want to be buried here as well, right?
Exactly.
So talk to me about the cash plan.
So why we decided to do a cash plan rather than to do the actual repatriation? Because may said, okay, fine, maybe I can just want to get a product that says I'll be repatriated to Kenya or Zimbabwe or South Africa if I pass away, right? The reasons why we did a cash cover is that cash gives you a lot of flexibility, right? For myself, I came into the UK about 20 years ago, right? And with my intention of maybe going back to Africa after maybe working for 4 or 5 years, but I'm still here. Now I've got a wife, I got children who are grown up, they're now teenagers. So somehow this is now kind of like more or less like my home. So if anything happens to me, there's a high chance that I might want to be laid to rest here in the UK, right? So if I started off with a product that will say it will repatriate me to Africa if I pass away, it will repatriate me to Zimbabwe, it will repatriate me to Kenya or to South Africa, it means that if I decide to change at some stage along the way, that product is no longer working because it's talking about repatriation, but now you don't want to be repatriated. So what we've decided to do is to give people cash. So when you make a claim, you get cash. So that cash can now go to a service provider who actually does the repatriation, and they will pay them. Because what people have been struggling with is cash, not the actual repatriation. It's the money. They want money in the pocket. So once you have money in the pocket, you can do whatever you want. Whether it's burial locally, wherever you are, it could be in Germany, USA, UK, or to be repatriated to Kenya. All those people who are providing those services, they just need money.
But you're saying cash. I mean, it's getting exciting because I know a lot of people where we are, most of the people who came like 20 years ago, we have a lot of our friends reaching 50 years old. I mean, you've seen a lot of 50th birthdays left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So it means it's the right time to actually do these not very comfortable conversations, because a lot of us Africans don't like these dead conversations, but they're important. But what do they have to do? What is the process like to get into the diaspora life insurance?
Yes. We've got so many of them turning 50, but the point is not like, let's wait until 10, 50, 60, because death doesn't, there's no kind of like a clock, or to say, or an alarm clock, or a timetable to say maybe when 10, 60 or 50, that's when you need the product. The product is needed anytime you have to take the product. You have to take your insurance, whether you are 20, whether 30, 40, 50. It's always good to put your house in order, right? In terms of application process, it's very simple, right? Well, we've got about 13 African nationalities that we cover. As long as you're coming from those 13 African nationalities, including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, you automatically qualify. So all you just need to do is contact our call center, of which we're going to provide the numbers there, or go on our website, which is www.diasporainsurance.com, fill in a form, we'll give you a call, give you a quotation. The application process is very simple. All we need to know is your age, and then you can decide how much you want to be covered. So the cover is for per life, so you can insure yourself. That's a good thing about the Diaspora Insurance product, the Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. You can insure yourself here in the diaspora, your spouse. If you've got a spouse, if you've got children, you can add them on the policy. And the other beauty is that you can add family members back home, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, you are here in the diaspora, but your responsibilities are not just here in the diaspora. Your responsibilities extend back home. Because if your loved one back home passes away, you know what happens? You're actually the first one to receive the message that so-and-so is passed on in the village. Yeah. Because why are they sending the message? Because you are the breadwinner. You are the one with the money.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
But Sibert, let's be realistic now.
Yeah.
Talk real sense now.
Yes.
No, because I know my diaspora people what they are saying. You know, we all say this. What I mean by sense is this, right? How much is it? How much do I have to put? Because that's the question they put. How much do I put on the table? You know, what is it? You know, just give us a little bit of a snippet of if you probably pay this a month, you probably get this at the end, or something that brings reality into the thing.
I can't really tell to say, okay, this product costs so much, because it's determined by two things, right? It's determined by your age and the cover amount, right? So that information is then put into your computer, and got a special software that then calculates your premium to say, if I'm aged 30 and I want to cover myself for £20,000 or $20,000 or 20,000 euros, that my premium is going to be so much, okay? And then if I'm 50, I can choose maybe to cover myself for 10,000 and so forth. It gives you a premium. So each life is going to be priced, and then you get a total for your family. Okay. So I can't really say this is how much it's going to cost, but I can give you a rough figure to say.
The rough figure helps because
family of four with young kids, mom and dad probably around 40, and if they take a cover of about 10,000, you're talking about the premiums between $40 and $50 or 40 and 50 pounds per month. So. But what we want to emphasize is
that's actually cheap, thinking that you're putting the family as well.
Yeah, putting your family, you get that peace of mind, and it's in the value. Because sometimes people would want to compare and say, okay, I think it's expensive, but what you want to look at is what actually is the value being created by the product. Because you have to compare your value and price, right? And so this product has actually done wonders. to our community. You lose someone, but you don't need to worry about where am I going to get the money from. What you want is just support from your family, from your friends to comfort you in such a difficult situation. And it gives you a lot of flexibility. There is no, if you look in the market, I don't think there is any product that does exactly like what we do. Being able to cover yourself here in the UK or wherever you are, and also having the ability to cover your families back home in Kenya. So someone can actually argue and say, okay, fine, I can get a Kenyan insurer to insure myself and my family members back home. But what you're forgetting is that there's an important aspect, which is regulation in terms of financial products. The financial products have to be regulated because they can arise circumstances where you have a dispute with the insurer. But if you insure yourself or your family with an insurer who is not in the UK and who's in Kenya, you don't have a recourse. You don't have any authority to approach to say, I'm being mistreated by my insurer. But with the Diaspora Insurance, we are authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, which means that if you've got any issues with us, you can go to the Financial Conduct Authority. And also it speaks volumes about our commitment to treating customers fairly, because when you are getting regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, they look at a lot of things. They look at our ability to be able to service the market that we are looking at, to make sure that we as a company, we have the necessary skills, experience, necessary systems to process payments. We have the capacity to pay premiums. What is our track record? All that there's a whole lot of screening. Also, there's an ongoing process of being monitored. And so that should give people the confidence that they're dealing with a legit company, yes, with a track record. And so that's why it's important to insure yourself with a reputable company like Diaspora Insurance.
Actually, when I met you, I've met you a couple of times and I've listened to you, and I'm loving how you're speaking. You've done a lot of homework to put up a product that really works for the diaspora. Yes. It's
because of our love. Our love. We love our communities. We love our people. We want to make sure that our people are secure and they've got that peace of mind. Because what you want is, you can't have a peace of mind when you know if anything happens to you or your family members, then it's very insecure. You're not settled. But when you know that things are covered, things that are really important to you.
You know, there's a lot of people who live alone in this country, and we've seen a situation not long ago where one of us passed on and we did not know how to go about them, and they did not have a plan, they don't have family here, and if they had an insurance policy like Diaspora Insurance policy, it would have worked marvelous for them. And, you know, I lost my mom, and if I had a situation where very quickly you'd get the 10,000 or 20,000 to actually do what you need to do, it would take a lot of baggage off your mind. But the question is, because some people have taken insurance, by the time you actually access the money, you know, like it's a month gone when the loved one has passed on. How quickly are you to actually deliver these to the people who need it the most at that time when they are really desperate and they've lost a loved one?
Exactly. That's a very good question. So you want, in such situations, you want immediate access to resources, right? So what we've done is we've made our application process very simple. We don't ask any medical questions like to go into details about what you suffer from. So application process is very simple. So if your application process is simple, it also means that claim process is very simple. We're not going to ask you any questions to say, give us a medical report, this and that. Then we call your GP to find out what's the cause of death, what were you doing, and so forth. All we want when you make a claim is the proof of death, which can be issued by any authority. Here in the UK, we're talking about either could be a death certificate from a coroner, from the hospital, police. So those are the kind of documents you want. And also IDs, any form of identification of the person who's making the claim, and the ID of the deceased, and your proof of residence will be any utility bill that's within the last 3 months. And once we receive all those documents, and the death has been verified, within on paper we say within 24 hours we pay out the claim, but in reality we pay out within 4 hours. clients have their money in their account deposited, and can be deposited in any account worldwide that you can nominate, and we can deposit the money, and you can have access to the money, and they can use whatever you want to use the money for, either for repatriation, to be buried locally, or cover any other expenses.
Fantastic. You know what? I've had a situation whereby a sister somewhere was made a next of kin. So that means that when somebody passed on, they had to, know what to do. What would you advise people who have taken a policy with you to make sure that the next of kin has, so as it can make the process of processing this become simple? Yeah,
so on application, when a client is taking a policy with us, they nominate two people who are called beneficiaries. There's a principal beneficiary and a secondary beneficiary. So these are people who are close to you, who you trust, who you know are going to execute your will or your desire, right? So it could be your spouse or children, if you've got children that are above 18, that are responsible and trust them, or other relatives, cousins, sisters, brothers, anyone who is close to you in the community, you can nominate them as beneficiaries. And you need to tell them that you are on the Diaspora Insurance product called Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. So if anything happens to me, you need to call them. So once you call us, we tell you exactly what you need to do, the forms that you need to complete, and we take you through the whole process. It's very simple, and we are happy to assist our clients. We've got an excellent customer service and the claims department that is very excellent. For all you know, we process claims any day, any time of the day, any day of the week. Even on Christmas Day, we process claims and pay out. That's how committed we are to our market. So once you nominate those people, you got a choice of either giving them a copy of your policy document, because these are people that you trust, and say, here's a copy of my policy document, here are the numbers for Diaspora Insurance, either phone them or WhatsApp them, or even send an email to our claims department. So the process is very simple, and also we've got all the information on how to make a claim. It's available on our website, so you go on our website, you can actually see all the information on how to make a claim on our website.
Fantastic. This language of death is not a very smooth one for our people, but it has to be spoken.
It has to be. We can't run away from that. As long as you're born, you're going to die at some stage, isn't it?
Yes. And these documents we're talking about, and I'm talking to you, my viewers out there, because many of us have got our documents. We haven't even taken a copy of our passport, leave alone anything else. You haven't put it aside. You haven't really talked to somebody that, just in case anything happens to me, this is what you should do. And I think when we are talking about these funeral cash plans, it's important for us to actually get our plans in order for how we will leave this planet. Let me say that, because if we are not planned, our people will be left crying, and that's not what we want. So for a Diaspora Speak today, we thought, tough topic, yes, but important and need to be spoken about. And for me, the biggest thing I'm talking about is a solution. The solution is here.
Solution is here. The thing is, we can't dodge things and try to avoid them and say, well, we can't discuss about this. This is taboo. If I start talking about that, then it means that I am going to die tomorrow.
It's in Kenya as well, it's Zimbabwe as well.
South Africa and everywhere. We just don't know how to talk about that. But we just have to deal with it and head on as responsible people, as people who plan, as people who care about our families, care about our legacy. Because we don't want to leave a legacy of saying, because if you die now, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. If your family goes through a process of actually begging for money and so forth, that's the only thing that you can be remembered. Yeah. So you want to make sure that your last chapter of your life is something memorable for your family members. Because I don't want to leave that kind of thing to my wife or to my family when I pass away and then say, well, we had to struggle to raise up money for Sibert to send him back to Zimbabwe or even bury him. Because that's the only thing they're going to remember, despite what I might have achieved. So my send-off is going to be what we can say, icing on the cake. And you can only do that by having a world-class bespoke product as part of the solution.
Than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Well, about the Diaspora Insurance policy, and viewers, the diaspora is a big thing right now. I keep repeating this because it's important. Most of us are turning 40, 50, 60, and it's about time that we make sure that we are well covered. I know I've kept telling you, my viewers, you not talk to each other, text each other, be checking on each other all the time. It's very, very important. Let's not kill that kind of, community, because we know a lot of us have passed on in their homes, nobody knows. And that has been a big thing we've seen at this season. Now, Sibert, back to the program now. And, a lot of people have said, they have life policies. Why do they need the Diaspora Insurance funeral plan when they have their own life policies?
Yes, that's a very important question, and it's one of the excuses that people always come up with. I think it's because of not knowing exactly the difference between a life cover or life insurance and a funeral policy or funeral insurance. So I just want to explain to our listeners about the difference between the two products and why we need both. A life insurance and a funeral insurance. So the two are not substitutes. So you can't say I have got a life cover, so therefore I don't need a funeral insurance, or I got a funeral insurance, therefore I don't need a life insurance. So we want to know the best way of tackling that issue is to dissect the use or what sort of risks each of these products covers. Okay, so let's look at life cover or life insurance, as they call it. So life insurance is insurance that is taken by a person, especially when they're of a working age group. You're going to work, you got an income, and that income you use it to support your family, right? So in the unfortunate event that you pass away, so that income stops. So what will happen is that your family or your dependents are not going to have access to that income because you're not working anymore. Remember, we exchange time for money. So you work and you get paid by your employer. But if you pass away, it means that you're not working, and that money stops coming and that income stops. So this is when the life cover kicks in. It replaces your income. And usually the life covers that people take are huge sums of money. We're talking about maybe £100,000, £500,000, or £1 million or $1 million. Because it's such a huge sum of money, when an insurer takes you on board, there is what they call an underwriting process. And that process is a bit complicated and it's prolonged. So in most cases, you are required to disclose your medical conditions. They'll ask you a list of medical conditions to say, do you suffer from this, from that, and all your medical history. And also you fill in a long questionnaire about your medical history. Not only that, your own, but also your family members, like your mother, your father, your brothers and sisters, anyone related to you. And also they require you to disclose your habits, like whether you smoke, you drink, and what sort of job do you do. Are you engaged in risky activities like bungee jumping, paragliding, mountain climbing, and so forth. So if you have those things as part of your life or habits, like you smoke, drink, and have pre-existing medical conditions, they'll either push up your premium or you're going to be denied a life cover. So that application process is very long, and you have to disclose all these things. So what does it mean then when you make a claim? So when you make a claim, your insurer wants to look back to see, when you said you didn't smoke, but then your medical history, or you didn't have high blood pressure or diabetes, but then your death certificate is saying that you died from high blood pressure or diabetes. So there's now a mismatch from what you disclosed and what you died from. And also they also get a history, a detailed history from your GP, who is going to, or your doctor or the hospital. So that process is very long. And also they want to make sure that, because it's a huge sum of money, we're talking about millions sometimes, or hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars. So your insurer will want to make sure that it's not a fraudulent claim. So they will go to length to investigate and make sure it's not a fraudulent claim. So that means that the payout is delayed. We're talking about months here. It could be 3 months, 4 months before you can actually get a single penny from your policy. And also sometimes that insurance product is also part of your estate. So it goes to estate planning and so forth. So it's not going to be released immediately, right? So that's going to delay things. So what is going to happen then if you're relying on your life cover to say that's the one that's going to bury me? So it means that you're going to be in the mortuary again like someone who doesn't have any insurance. 6 months, 3 months, 4 months in the mortuary, right? But when it comes to the funeral policy, like the Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, that's the one that's provided by Diaspora Insurance, I remember I said before, our application process is very simple, right? We only need to know 2 things from you. Which country are you from? Are you from Kenya? Yes. Are you less than 75? Yes. And then you are accepted straight away. We don't even want to know your height, your weight, whether you smoke, whether you drink, whether you suffer from any medical conditions. We don't want to know all that.
We all know, you and me know, we all die.
We all die. So application process is very simple, right? So that our claim process should be very simple as well. Once we start complicating the application process, the claim process has to be complicated as well, because we want to check to see, did you tell us the truth when you applied? Did you lie to us? Did you not review certain things? Did you start engaging in those dangerous activities and so forth? So we don't go into all that detail. So our application process is simple, claim process is very simple. Why we are doing that is that we want to make sure that our clients get immediate help, immediate financial help, intervention. So what you need is cash. So within 24 hours of making a claim, our clients are paid, the claim is paid out. The other thing I want to also to explain is about the difference between a life cover and funeral policy, the Diaspora Insurance funeral policy. Is that a life cover, in most situations, they expire. Okay? You take a policy right now, and you get to your retirement age, like 65 or 67. Your life cover terminates in most situations, almost all of them. So that means that after 65, you're not covered anymore. The assumption is that when you retire, that's when your pension kicks in, right? So if anything happens to you, you go to a pension pot to fall back on. If you pass away, your family is going to access your pension anyway. So you no longer need a life cover, all right? So that's another thing. Then, but with the Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, it doesn't expire. You take a policy now, you remain covered for the rest of your life. You see? So you get, because it's an end-of-life expenses. So we want to make sure until you die, you're covered. So that's another key difference between the two. And the other difference is that with a life cover, especially, let's take, for example, for someone who lives and works in Germany, and then they take a life cover for themselves, and then they decide to relocate or come to the UK, right? It means that the life cover that they had in Germany, and
it's not applicable anymore. It's
no longer work. If you go out of territory, that doesn't work. But for the Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, because it's a product for diasporans, it's what we call a protection without borders. It doesn't know about borders. Wherever you are, it works. So if you relocate to the US, you're still covered. You go back to Kenya, because sometimes people will work, set up their investments back home, and they want to go and relax in the sunny Africa, which is beautiful, and then they enjoy their investments. But if you go back to Africa, you still remain covered on the same policy. Go to any part of the world, you remain covered. So that's the beauty about the product. And those are the differences between a life cover and a funeral policy. So what we advise our clients is we need both a life cover and a funeral policy to make sure that we are securely insured.
Diaspora, you've heard, this is a funeral cash plan, and I know a lot of us want to listen to that point clearly, because we know that we can afford a lifestyle where even if it's a 50 pounds, 100 pounds, you can always put that aside for that rainy day, which you don't know when is that going to be. And again, we do all our savings, yes, but our savings was never supposed to be a funeral cover. So it's important for us to listen and listen very carefully. Sometimes us in the diaspora, we are the worst enemies to ourselves. People will take time to create a product that works for us, but instead of us actually embracing and taking on to the product, we start really looking for pit holes. There's no pit holes in this one. What I've looked into it is it's working, it is for you. Just make sure that you get it going. So for you, Sibert, you're talking to the diaspora, talk to them directly. This is your 1 minute of, your nugget for 1 minute. Whether you want to repeat what we've said throughout, Sibert, talk to them directly, looking in their eyes and tell them, diaspora, this is for you.
Right. We have Diaspora Insurance with a very unique product that is specifically for us as African diasporas. So let's take the product that ensures ourselves that if anyone passes away on the policy, we pay out cash, and you can use that money to do whatever you desire. It could be repatriation to Africa or Kenya, Zimbabwe, or whichever part of Africa come from. Or if it's going to be local burial locally, that's going to work because it's a cash cover. It gives you flexibility. Not only that, you can add family members back home. And because it's a cash cover, if you relocate to any other part of the world, it works as long as you continue paying your premiums, because we are a global company, Diaspora Insurance. And the other important message is that we are an authorized and regulated company with we've got more than 10 years of experience in the market, and we are a reputable company. So call us on numbers below. We'll be very excited and be very happy to help you, to answer any questions that you have. Go on our website, read for yourself, watch all the testimonials that we have. Go on YouTube. There are lots and lots of testimonials as well. If you just type in Diaspora Insurance, there are lots of testimonials of people that have been helped by this product. And we are more than happy to work with you, help our community address this age-old problem.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.